Hey guys, what is going on? It's Virgo here, and it is time for my final discussion concerning Bleach. Of course, today I'm going to be talking about what I thought of the 1,000-Year Blood War arc. Low-key, I actually finished this about 2 weeks ago. I've just been too lazy to make this video. Actually, that's a lie. I tried recording this video twice, and both times all of my thoughts were kind of jumbled all over the place. But this time, I have kind of some notes written down on what I feel like I need to say. So I feel like this will go well. Now, I'm not really going to be stacking this up against any other anime. I actually have plans to, before I watch One Piece, because I know that's going to take a minute, I'm actually going to make a video on comparing all of the big shonen and what I think of them, because that's kind of the point of me watching them all, is I want to know what's the best. I want to find the best one of them all. So I'll be making a video of that sometime soon, and I'm stalling real hard when it comes to One Piece, because I really don't want to watch it. But I also do want to watch it, especially since there's like a big fight that's supposed to be like, I don't really know what's going on, but apparently the one of the newest episodes, or a next episode or is supposed to have like a huge matchup, and it's kind of getting me pumped. I kind of want to watch the show now just because I like it when people get hyped over a show like that, and it makes me feel like I need to watch it, even though it's like 850 something episodes in or something like that. But yeah, so anyways, so my thoughts on the arc as a whole. Now, to start, I'm just gonna go right out and say it. If this arc was animated, and incorporated into the main series, I feel like a lot of people would think of Bleach differently. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, because at the end of the day, I've done a lot of thinking, and I don't know if it's just because I'm used to anime more, which I am. I don't read manga too often. The only time I ever read manga is when a show that I like ends and it's not coming back. Then I'll read the manga and catch up. Or if it's way far behind, like Boruto or Dragon Ball Super, I'm just reading the manga because fuck that. But I still think, for me personally, the Soul Society arc was the best part of Bleach, but at the same time, this arc definitely was the pinnacle of, like, the story. It was the climax. It was the biggest arc in terms of that kind of thing. So that's why, if it was animated, I think it has the potential to be by far the best part of Bleach. Because I know a lot of people like this arc, but I also know a lot of people don't for certain reasons that I'll probably get into. So to start, this arc is kind of the thing that I hate most about Bleach, in that it just gets really weird. And that's why the Soul Society arc is still my favorite, is because that's when times were simpler. I'm not gonna lie, when watching the first arc, or the first couple arcs, kind of, learning about the Shinigami and everything, I was thinking this anime is gonna be my favorite of all time. But then things just started getting out of hands. We had the Iran cars brought in, which it started getting a little bit weird then, and then Aizen, and then it just started getting a little bit weird. You know what I mean? Like, I still enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. I think the 1,000-Year Blood War arc was definitely my second favorite, and I was going back and forth between whether or not this is my favorite, but I just think the simplicity of the Soul Society arc, and the fact that when there was a fight, you had two guys with swords, they had a Shikai, and then maybe a Bankai, and that was it. There was nothing else to it. The 1,000-Year Blood War arc, I seriously just didn't care about half the fights, because there were powers that I just couldn't care less about at this point. And the powers started getting really weird too. We'll talk about it later when I get into the Zero Squad and stuff, and that one dude with the paintbrush. Also, I'm not going to be remembering names at all, because there were so many characters introduced. That's just a my bad thing. I kind of read through these fast. I don't really take as much time as I should sometimes. But these, for me, were the biggest problems with this arc. Just to sum it up, things just got a little bit weird sometimes. So let's go into piece by piece. Again, a lot of this is going to be me talking about things I didn't like from this arc, but that's just what a review is. Everything I did like, I'll get to at the end. And again, before I get into anything else, this definitely was my second favorite arc, at the least, when it comes to this show. Maybe after everything dies down, maybe this will end up being my favorite. I don't know. But first thing, I really didn't like, and maybe this is just a me thing, I really don't like Ichigo's, like, final outfit with his white full-bring stuff on it. I saw it in Jump Force, like, a while ago when he was first announced, before I even, like, was done the anime, and I'm like, I don't like this. This just looks, I don't like it. I don't like this look. But yeah, that's a very minor thing. It has nothing to do with whether this arc's good or not. So, let's get into the first major disappointment for me. At first, it was a really cool thing, but it did become a major disappointment, and I talked about it a bit earlier. Unohana. She was actually one of my favorite characters from the anime, just because we didn't know anything about her, and yeah, she was the one captain that we just knew jack shit about, and because of that, I'm like, she's gonna have some type of interesting, cool backstory, and I was kind of spoiled as to the fact that she was kind of like a freak in the manga, and I didn't know what that meant. I just knew that she was a freak. I was like, I'm interested. I want to see what happens in the manga. So, of course, when it's like right when Kenpachi's walking down into that basement area where they're fighting, and she turns around with that look on her face, like that bloodlust smile, I'm like, oh shit, this is happening. This is happening. This is gonna be crazy. If you haven't noticed, there's spoilers in this review, by the way. I know I just got into that right now, but spoiler alert. So, Unohana, I'm like, oh damn, this is it. This is when it's gonna happen. And then she drops the bomb that she was the original Kenpachi and part of the original Gotai 13. And I'm like, yo, this is like all of my dreams have come true. This character just becomes so badass. And then she starts killing Kenpachi over and over again. I'm gonna refer to Zaraki as Kenpachi and Yachiru Kenpachi as Unohana, because that's just what we've known them as for so long. So Unohana, again, I'll keep calling her that, was killing Kenpachi over and over again, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, yo, they're doing her character so well. Like, she's gonna be so cool later on. And then this is where things started to go sour. As the fight started progressing, their dialogue started becoming a little bit more emotional. I'm like, hold on, you don't mean to tell me this fight's gonna end here? And then she releases her Bankai too. I don't know when. I can't remember exactly when this happened in the fight, which was it was a disappointment because we still don't know what the fuck what it was. It looked cool when she's like had that pose going, like that T pose with the circle of blood. It looked so fucking cool and sinister. She had so much potential. She seriously could have been the coolest character in the show. And even though she was done dirty, I still think that she honestly was one of the coolest characters in the show. But she was killed basically to give Kenpachi his Zenkai boost. That's literally all she was. And you know what's disappointing is I think if that exact thing would have happened towards the end of the manga and Unohana had more time to shine earlier on, or even if it did happen at that exact time but Unohana actually did something earlier in the anime or did something badass, I think that death would have been a lot more a lot less disappointing. But the fact that she didn't do anything at all ever and then was finally introduced as, you know, who she really was and then was killed, I was sad. I was ready to stop reading. I don't know. They disrespected her real hard. Now, I'm going to be kind of jumping ahead for a second here. I wrote these down in kind of chronological order, but because we're already on the topic of Kenpachi, let's talk about him. First of all, Kenpachi. The whole point of him is that he is the strongest Soul Reaper of them all. He's, you know, self-proclaimed. I mean, that's his title. So when he finally learns the name of his Zanpakuto and releases his Shikai, you're thinking like, okay, this dude's about to fucking bust shit up. Like, he's gonna be unbeatable. That didn't really happen. But then, later on, kind of glossing, I'm going to talk about Yachiru in a second, the pink-haired Yachiru. We're going to talk about her in a minute. But later on, after she disappears and everything, he gets his Bankai. And I'm thinking, okay, this is it. This is when he becomes busted to the point of no return. And it didn't happen. That might be a good thing because, realistically speaking, if Kenpachi became as strong as he should have, he would have killed everybody. And that would have been the end of the arc. Like, yeah, not much else to say on that. Yachiru, I'm still kind of confused on. I mean, it kind of implies that she's part of his Bankai or part of his Zanpakuto, but what I don't understand is he already had his Zanpakuto before Yachiru ever came around, didn't he? Unless somehow Yachiru was always his Zanpakuto and kind of came to him in a weird way. I don't know. That still seems kind of weird. I think it was kind of cool that they did that, though. I'm kind of sad that she's gone. Like, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I thought it was kind of cool, but it's also, like, kind of confusing. Let's talk about the next big disappointment for me. The Zero Squad. Now, this I'm sure we can all agree on. They got fucked up. They were a disappointment. First of all, I was almost disappointed just hearing that they existed because I'm like, come on. all these Soul Reapers, these elite guys, and then we find out that there's this squad of 5 people up in fucking whatever it's called, and they're just like the most OP people ever, and I'm like, damn, that kind of undermines everything that's happened so far. But then we find out that the Zero Squad ain't shit. They all get destroyed, except for the one. So the fight between Ewok, I'm gonna pronounce his name Ewok. That's how you pronounce it. I don't like German names, and that's part of the reason why I didn't pay attention to half their names, is because they're impossible to say unless you're German. So, but the fight between him and the paintbrush dude really was the main part of this arc that made me think I really don't like what's going on, because their fight wasn't even a fight. It was just a fight, like it was a battle of my power is stronger than yours, so it'll consume your power. And then, no, my power is stronger than yours, so I will consume all the power in the world. And then it just escalates beyond that. And again, at that point, it's not even fighting anymore. They're just kind of like, I didn't even know what was going on throughout half that fight. It was just, like I said, things just started getting really weird in this arc, and that's the kind of thing that threw me off. So yeah, Zero Squad, that was definitely not it. So we're gonna talk about Ewok in a second. He's kind of the next thing I had jotted down, but I forgot to put down the Quincy's as a whole and what I think about them. Now, I think from what this is completely an opinion thing. I don't think any of the main antagonists in the show were better written than the others, because from my point of view, I didn't really like any of the villains in the show. I thought they were all kind of poorly written, but I think the Quincy's were the worst of them all. I think, again, I still think that the best part of the show were when the Soul Reapers were kind of the bad guys in a sense. They weren't really, but they kind of were. So they were kind of, in a way, the villains of the first kind of third of the show. Then the second third of the show, we had the Arankars, which, again, I didn't like where they were kind of going with these weird kind of, just when things started getting out of hand. But the Arankars were still cool. I liked most of them. I liked Ukiora, Grimjaw, Hallibell. A lot of them were really cool, and I really feel bad for, how they were treated by Aizen. But the Quincy's, I just really couldn't care less for most of them. And again, this might be a product of me not reading manga a lot, because sometimes it's tough for me to catch some of the emotion in some scenes. There's two things that I kind of miss with manga, or that I feel like I don't get fully. One is fight scenes, because it's harder to tell what's going on when you don't actually see the motions happening. And two, I kind of sometimes miss emotion in manga, because sometimes I can't tell when it's supposed to be sad or when it's like, I don't know. Again, I feel like that's just a me thing. Maybe it's not, but that's kind of why I always prefer anime. But I didn't really care much for the Quincy's. There was that one group at the very end who like turned coach, and they were like, damn, our leader betrayed us, we gotta kill him. But then they all got fucked up and died instantly. So I don't know. I didn't really care too much for the Quincy's. But hey, I mean, yeah, I don't really know what to say on that front. Ewok! Now, again, the common theme with this is I didn't really like Ewok as a character. I thought he was kind of poorly done, but just like Aizen, I really like the way that he was cemented in the storyline. I mean, he was part of like Zangetsu from the very beginning. I really like when shows in anime and manga do that. It's really cool, and it makes you think, damn, how far did the creator think ahead? Like, I really like that was done. I really like the twist that Ichigo was a Quincy. I know people are like, damn, Ichigo's part this and part that and part everything, but I think the reveal that he was a Quincy was probably one of actually the coolest parts of the arc for me. And finding out about his mom, I think that might have been my favorite part of the entire arc, to be honest with you, was seeing his parents pass. That was awesome. That was super cool to see. And also, his mom was kind of a waifu. We didn't know that till now, but she was kind of a top tier waifu. So that's definitely cool as well. Also, I'm kind of going all over the place, but I mentioned the word waifu, and I know it sparked your guys' interest. You guys are asking Spherical. You said you would come to us and tell us what your favorite waifu from Bleach was. Well, I haven't thought long and hard about this, because for me it's easy. There's only one waifu in this show. It's Riruka. Okay? If you argue with me, you're wrong, so don't try to do it. I'm happy that she showed back up once in the manga, or and when I say in the manga, I mean the Thousand Year Blood War arc. I'm glad that she showed up once, but I still wish she was actually more of a character after the Fullbring arc. But yeah, she's still my number one waifu. So, yeah, that's that. So where was I? I'm like losing track of everything in sense of okay, Yuak. Again, one of the main things I don't like about him is he just made the show or the story so it like his powers were just weird. The whole like him becoming the Soul King and becoming blackness itself and his eyes and everything. It was just weird. I like the simple days of sword fighting. Okay, so what's next on my list? Aizen. Aizen's return. I knew he would return for this arc, but I was disappointed. I know I'm saying this a lot, and I'm really undermining the good things that were part of this arc, but I really did not like Aizen in this arc. I was praying to any god that exists that Aizen would become a fleshed out character in this arc, and the absolute opposite happened. He just became even more confusing to me. Like, I just don't get him. I do not get his character one bit, and I don't think anybody does because he's just a psychopath. Like there's nothing else to it. The only reason why he joined up with the Soul Reapers is because he didn't want anybody to threaten his eventual like territory. Because I mean he still has dreams to take everything over and whatever. I just don't get him. I don't at all. I still think Aizen's one of the worst written villains of all time. I also think he's one of the most badass villains of all time. I don't think that can be undermined. But now tying in with Aizen, I think the single hand, like the number one problem with this entire arc was its ending. Not its epilogue, but the ending of the actual fight. That was rushed to hell. I was like, oh damn, Aizen's here, Ichigo's teamed up with him, the fight's about to start, and then all of a sudden it ended and there was a 10-year time skip. That like, it was so rushed. And I really hope if this arc is animated, they do the ending better. Because if the ending is better done, this could be the best arc of the show. But the ending fight, it was just... Come on, man. Ichigo's, I mentioned how I don't like Ichigo's Fullbring stuff, but I like his Quincy Bankai at the very end. That was badass. Even though he barely got to use it because it just kept getting deleted by Yuak. Again, which I just didn't like. I need to stop saying that, okay? Man, I've really gone through all the important points, like, really fast. The last point I really had written down was the epilogue, which I liked. I really liked. I thought it was cute. Also, anybody here who's watching, if you actually, somewhere in your mind, somehow believed that Ichigo was going to end up with Rukia, you are out of your mind. Like, this was the easiest thing to see in the entire universe, the pairings at the end of the show. This thing was written miles away, way from back in the start of the show, and yet comments on the last episode, people are like, damn, I didn't think Ichigo was ending but Orihime, wow! Y'all are stupid, okay? Shipping is fine, but at least be logical about it. We knew this was gonna happen. And then Rukia and Renji, okay, I was kind of joking there. I hope I didn't really piss anybody off. I'm kind of joking around. Again, shipping is cool, but I feel like it was super obvious how these pairings were gonna end. But yeah, sorry, Renji and Rukia, I can dig it. Also, Rukia became a captain. I'm kind of sad that Renji didn't too, because I feel like they're both kind of on the same level. Maybe not now that Rukia's got her Bankai, because that thing was pretty busted, but I honestly though, since the very start of the show, I was secretly praying that Ichigo would just abandon his life on Earth and become a captain. I thought that would be super cool, but that didn't happen, so that's kind of sad. But yeah, Rukia became a captain, which is awesome. There's 2 Kuchiki captains now. Now that I think of it, has that ever really happened? Where there's 2 members of the same family as captains at once? Because Byakuya didn't step down, he's still up. Okay, anyways, I was talking about the epilogue. I really like that they set it up for a sequel, even though a sequel isn't meant to happen, but Who knows if anybody wants to dig up this ancient relic one day and start a Bleach sequel. They have 2 new characters set up, you know, 2 new child soul reapers. Again, Ichigo and Orihime's kid, and then Renji and Rukia's. I really like that they did that. Again, it's not meant to happen, but who knows? It's good to have a sequel set up. Anytime you need some extra money, you can just bring this back, and the fans will definitely not be upset. That would be amazing if that did happen. But I feel like I said what I need to say about this arc. I really did, trust me, I don't take what I like. I was disappointed with a lot of the things I said in this episode. But all of that said, I really did like this arc, and I really do wish it's animated one day. I don't think it will be anytime soon, because Bleach, like, you can sense when a show's dead, and Bleach has truly been dead for a while. But if they did come back and animate this, I truly hope if they just changed some things up and made some things a little bit more, you know, better, this truly could be the best arc in Bleach, and it could push Bleach to a whole nother level of, you know, a lot more people would respect this show. Because the problem with a lot of shonen is people are just like, man, this show sucks, nothing can change my mind. People say it about Bleach, people say it about Fairy Tail, people say it about Naruto, people say it about Dragon Ball Z, people say it about One Piece. Hell, you just witnessed me saying it about One Piece when I started this episode, and I haven't even watched the show yet. It's just natural. I think if this arc was animated, Bleach would be a lot more proper. The only thing that's weird, though, is I feel like they shouldn't have animated the Fullbring arc. Like, it feels like the Fullbring arc was kind of a prequel to the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, kind of getting Ichigo's powers back and everything. So I feel like it's kind of weird that they ended on the Fullbring arc. I feel like if it was animated again, they would have to redo the Fullbring arc to reintroduce us to the characters. Because the 1,000-Year Blood War arc, it just starts. Like, there's no introduction, it just goes. So yeah, that's my kind of review, I guess, per se. I'm not going to give this a rating because I don't rate manga, because as I said many times, I don't read a lot of mangas, so sometimes I miss something, sometimes I don't understand some things as they're supposed to be displayed. That's why I'm kind of an anime guy, and that's why I always will be. But yeah, I thank you guys all for watching, and I will post a video soon on what I think of kind of, I guess, the 4. I know people say big 3, big 4, whatever, but I think it's pretty commonplace knowledge that there's pretty much 5 big shonen out there. Not counting like the newest ones, but you know, I'll make a video on comparing kind of Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, Fairy Tail, and Bleach, and then once I'm done One Piece, I'll kind of do an overarching thing on how I think One Piece stacks up against all that and where it fits. But expect a video in the coming future on kind of my comparisons between the 4 out of the 5 that I've watched. So with that being said, I really thank you guys all for watching. This show was definitely a journey. Yeah, I'm gonna have to end it off here. So again, thanks all for watching, and I will talk to you guys all next time. Till then, peace out.